hands are straight, okay, no blocking anything like that. Okay, your eyes are closed. Bring your awareness between your heart region. Now gently press and relax. Press. Feel your fingertips, feel your palm and relax. Press and relax. Now we are slowly going to release. Press and release. Very slowly bring your awareness between your palm. Gently bring it closer and open. Slowly bring it closer and open. Gentle movement. Slowly bring it closer. Open a little wider. Closer. Now gently start rotating clockwise. Just any direction. Slow movement. Observe. Bring your awareness between your palm and see what you can feel. Opposite direction, anti-clockwise. Bring it to the center. Now slowly open and close. Open, wider and close. Open wider and close. Slowly relax, release your hands. Did you feel anything? Open your eyes. Anybody felt anything? Some heat? Anything else? Did you all feel heat? Any sensation in the fingertips? Anyone felt anything other than heat?
My breathing coincides with the actions.
Okay, that's good. Anything else?
Tingling sensation.
Tingling sensation of the fingertips. Anyone had any kind of magnetic feeling? Who? In between, right? The magnetic, yeah. So you actually, that is all the prana, the tingling sensation, the heat, it's all prana, the energy. Now when you do it, because we are in an office setting and you can just feel it, you know. I was in Taiwan teaching and my student was telling she could feel like a ball, alright? And when you look at all these Chinese martial art, you know, we used to laugh, but honestly, when I sometimes your hands are just like that. So when you do true yoga posture, when you're doing every single posture, you should actually be able to feel the prana. When you're doing that, you can feel a kind of a cushion, like a magnetic thing, cushioning here. That is when you go into a total state of true yoga. Well, not the true yoga out there, the true yoga. Okay? So when you can feel this, if we have time, maybe we'll try it after with a breathing exercise, and then you see whether anybody can feel that magnetic. It will sometimes be so resistant. When you're trying to push it, it's quite, of course you can bring it, but you can feel it. So when you're fully aware, maybe your thoughts are there, I've got to go, you know, I'm hungry, you can't feel it. But when you're 100% here feeling, you'll be able to, right? So Ayurveda says basically this thing, what we call prana, the meridians, there are about 72,000 meridians, you can't see it. They are circulating all over your body and they are flowing in different directions. And when there is any kind of wrong direction, stagnation, fast or slow, that's when your nadis or your prana gets blocked. And that's when all the diseases happen. Try telling this to a Western doctor. So what we are doing here, Dr. Nagendra came up with something. He said people need a certain amount of stimulation, they need relaxation. Unfortunately in Singapore, we are stimulate, go to the gym, stimulate, and then go back home, nagging, stimulate, and then watch violent movies, stimulate. You have a big lamb chop in your stomach and then stimulate your digestion and you don't get any kind of relaxation. Alright? So you really need to think, because what are you then passing on to your children? Because when you're very stressed, how it's going down to your kids as well. So this particular exercise called self-management of stress is a sequence where we stimulate and then relax. But the relaxation is longer than stimulate. A cycle, stimulate, relax, until it comes to a final state of calmness. I mean, I have done this only a million times for students, and I was in India last year, and students absolutely loved it. And those who were sitting for the yoga exam, we do yoga teachers training, and those who were sitting for the exam did request, please can you do this every day before our exam, because they really wanted to be calm and alert. The whole process here basically is a sequence, okay? I'm going to go through this sequence very quickly, not here, physically. You start off with a relaxing posture. So remember, take away all your idea of other yoga, alright? We're only talking about stress management. From the state of relaxation, you're going to do some kind of instant relaxation, alright? So Singapore, everybody wants something instant because you're moving, so we give you 3 types of relaxation. Few postures and relaxation. Then you come to a standing posture and you do what we call centering. You come forward, then you come back to the center, you lean back, but you're not leaning back like this. You're just leaning back a little bit where you can feel the weight on the base of your hips, right? And then you lean towards the left and then slowly towards the right. Ideally, all yoga classes, before you start any posture, this is what you should do. Why?
To find the balance.
Good. To find a balance. Because sometimes our weight will be here, we're just standing this way, we are carrying bags this way. So before you start any posture, you should do the centering and then feel the balance. Your weight is evenly distributed. Then you do the posture. Then for this class, for SMS technique, we do what we call the lateral arc. Generally in yoga class you do, I hope you've done this, one of the basic, right? You breathe in and then breathe out, right? But in this case, we are just going to do so slow. So I will give instruction with the eyes closed, your hand will be down. This part is totally relaxed to 45 degrees. And then gently your awareness is here. As you're coming, you're feeling the blood rushing. At this point, you're turning your finger, right? Your awareness all here. When you're turning, what are you feeling here? What are all the changes? As you're bringing your hand up, feeling the blood flowing down. A very slow process at this point. Normal breathing, not like breathe in and breathe out. So your normal breathing, the focus is here, and then you come down, just stimulate a little bit, and then slowly come up this way, relax, alright? Then we do the other side instruction, and with your eyes closed, you slowly come. You're already at this stage very relaxed. You come to a sitting posture like that, and then relax. Then you go to a lying posture and we do a deep, quick relaxation. Alright, another 3 minutes. Where we ask you to breathe from your abdominal breathing. And that's another thing a lot of people are doing wrong. We are breathing only from the top half of the lungs and not the bottom half. If you breathe from abdomen, you see a baby, when the baby is sleeping, the stomach goes up and down. That's the correct form of breathing because the air goes right to the base of the lung. If you are now stressed all day, always you just, we're only breathing the thoracic breathing. Then you come back again to leg stack posture and you do this posture. This is called the ankle posture, Vajrasana. Or who usually sits in this kind of posture? Generally, which culture? Why? Yoga is a logical science. Huh? Why do you think they sit in this posture? What kind of food do they eat? Mainly raw food, right? According to Ayurveda, remember I mentioned the nadis, the 72,000 nadis? There is one nadi here that stimulates your digestive fire, improves your digestion. And when you eat raw food, and this is the only posture you can do after a meal. So anytime you do any yoga, you're not supposed to eat immediately, give yourself half an hour. And if you have done it, you just want to do yoga, you sit in this posture. It helps with your digestion. After this, we do a forward bend. When you come forward, then you take a deep breath and go That gives you a kind of a vibration, internal massage in your face. Many people think, oh, I do the it's all religion. It's not. If you sit down now, close your eyes, all of you, and follow my instruction. Take a deep breath and say relax. Do you notice two things? Your breath is longer. Right? Some of you are going normal breathing. Normal breathing, you won't be able to do it. Secondly, what was happening to your head region?
The blow is here.
Yeah, it's coming up, it's a kind of stimulating, right? It actually scientifically shows it stimulates your brain cells. Because we are all always tired all the time, it really stimulates your brain cells. So this, people think it is very religious, it is not. Anybody, if you're a human being, you got brains, you got brain cells, you can do it. Nothing to do with religion, okay? If you think you don't want to do it, then up to you. So once we do that, then we come to this posture and then we take a deep breath and say ah, because when you do ah, it is giving a stimulation here. And it's massaging all the little cells inside there. We do external massage, we clean on the external, yoga is also about internal. And then when you do ah, this is where the sound comes in. It brings you to a total state of calmness until you just basically feel so relaxed. Alright? And then you come here and this posture, finally deep relaxation technique, you lie down and then we give instruction from your toes up to your head at least about 20 minutes. When I do this for 1 whole hour, only this for cancer patients. If a person is suffering from liver cancer, then we go deep into the liver and do visualization of liver cancer. If you are suffering from pancreas, then we focus only on the pancreas. And I can tell you that it has added quality to the life. Alright? So, I've got nothing against dynamic yoga, all of us have to do, but if you're staying in a village, you've got absolutely nothing to do, you're just sitting and drinking some alcohol and playing cards, perhaps some dynamic yoga is good for you. However, if you are in a very stressful environment, believe me, a relaxing yoga is what that makes you very productive. It gives you certain level of productivity. Alright? Now, awareness, I mentioned the 5 levels. So when you do yoga at a real level, you then have a physical, you have breath, all these levels of relaxation. So you're not only relaxing at the mental level, how are you going to relax at an emotional level? So when the husband or wife is nagging, you don't have to do that to irritate them, but you come to a very a state of relaxation here. Alright? Now, for the stress management technique that I said, there are a few levels of relaxation, what we call a single thought. So when you are just doing that, your whole thought is at one point. So you cannot be doing that, okay, now I've got a deadline to meet, okay, so tomorrow I'm handing the project, then I've got to go back and cook, and then I'm going to do this. You're not going to get your 6 hours of sleep, there's not going to be any benefit there. Slowness has to be really slow. Some people, I do it in class, their mind is so active, they just want to go up, and I say, just follow my instruction. Alright? You need to be wakeful. Don't go out there. Yoga is all about being wakeful, especially in deep relaxation technique. Whenever I do deep relaxation technique, I hear, tiger, bear, all the sounds all coming in. Only when you're wakeful, that means when you are giving instruction and your thoughts are in the different parts of the body, you feel full benefit, 100% benefit of that relaxation. Effortless, alright? Sometimes when I do any pranayama or breathing technique, very relaxed. When you're doing breathing, you're only focusing on this part if you're doing a particular breath, correct? The face is not. When I say tighten your fingers, they go tighten. Only your fingers, just only that part. So be aware of the different parts of your body. And expansiveness, not the money expansiveness, expand. So your prana that you can feel just now, it expands further. To a point in time, sometimes your intuition also becomes developed. Alright, I won't go into that. Now, so we have different types. When you're doing this, here it's the pointed, you feel the point. Here it is the surface. When I'm lying down, it's the surface. When I'm lying on my side. So whenever you're doing yoga, your awareness is always inside your body. And I am really not in favor of music during yoga because your thoughts are there. You're trying to relax, you hear music, and then you go, oh, Michael Jackson music, actually, he died. How could he die? He shouldn't have. I wonder if he did. Where is your awareness? Right? So again, music, all this can be distracting. We want to bring your awareness within. Now, I'm going to do one more exercise with you, and that is relaxing. I mentioned about abdominal breathing. Does it mean the air is going to your abdomen? Yes? When the child is breathing and the stomach goes up and down, is the air going to the stomach? You at least know a little bit about your lung can or not. The stomach, the air doesn't go to the stomach. This is what we call diaphragmatic breathing. When your diaphragm goes down, the stomach comes out. So the air then goes to the lower part of the lung. Your lung is divided into what we call the clavicular, the thoracic, and the lower part. Alright, one side we have 2 lobes, one side we have 3 lobes. We are not maximizing our lung to the fullest capacity. When you bring in enough oxygen to your lung, you will age slowly. I think whatever I tell is not going to, no one's going to listen. When I say your aging will be slowed down, okay, tell me how can I breathe? So your aging will be slowed down. So when you breathe, that means when you breathe in, now if you see a difference here between my chest breathing and my abdominal breathing, here I'm breathing through the abdomen. Alright, inhale, exhale. Right? Inhale, exhale. Do you see a difference? So when I do both together, and when you think this is the most, then you can do a little bit more shoulders here. Alright, that is what we call a yogic breathing, a full breathing. And every yoga class, even when you're doing your posture, so when we do the posture, it is breathing, abdomen, chest, shoulder, full breath, and then exhale. That is when you give your body enough oxygen. And the more oxygen you have, from Ayurveda yoga point of view, they don't talk oxygen, they talk prana. The more prana you have in your body, you don't even need to breathe. It comes to a point where you don't need to breathe. And once you have enough in there, you just feel very relaxed. Okay? I'm going to do one exercise now called Kapalabhati. It is again, many people also do, I'll come to this later. Let's do this Kapalabhati, abdominal breathing. Okay, how you're going to exercise the abdomen. Now, the best way of doing abdominal breathing is what we call crocodile. I can't do it here, but it's lying down on your back. So imagine the floor is here. My hands are like this on the floor, my hands, and I'm lying. You know, children, when you're watching TV, you're lying, your body is straight. When you're in this posture, very naturally the air will go to your stomach. Not your stomach, your lower part of your lungs. Okay? So when that happens, you are doing full breathing. And people who are suffering from insomnia, who have difficulty sleeping, we tell them that this is an excellent way. Alright? Whenever you're very tired, lazy, all cluttered down here, we do what we call Kapalabhati, which is your forehead shines, but there are more than shining there. But it stimulates your brain cell, removes all the carbon dioxide, as well as it gives more oxygen. So using the thoracic, the abdominal one, I'm going to show you. I'm just going to exhale. Only, I'm not going to inhale. Automatically the air will go in. So it's, so you do this 120 times in 1 minute. Ideally, not today. Because if you do it wrongly, it hurts. So when you're doing this, it is starting class, we always say, first you learn, because I'm not doing here, you notice? Then relax. Then slowly, see if you can do 3. Then, alright? Then you do, then your body is not shaking. So yoga is about bringing your awareness to different parts, to segment 8. So you are, this part is as calm as possible. Let's see if you can do it. Nobody had lunch. Did you have your lunch? Heavy lunch? You can't do this, okay. Sit straight the way I mentioned. If you want to do Kapalabhati, if you want to do any pranayama, you sit on the floor, or you want to sit straight, your body has to be at an angle. Sit straight. You can place your hand in your abdomen region if you need to, otherwise you can leave it relaxed. And just do one exhalation. Can you feel your abdomen? Do a second one. You notice the air inhalation is automatic, exhalation is forceful. So we call this forceful exhalation automatic inhalation, and when you do it 120 times in 1 minute, 3 times a day or maximum 2 times a day, you are removing all the carbon dioxide and you can actually feel very relaxed and calm. So I'm going to ask you to do it with your eyes closed, but please don't do 1 minute. Do up to your body's capacity. If you feel tired, just relax. Keep your eyes closed and observe what's happening to your breath. Are you breathing immediately? Are you not? Just observe. Alright? So, close your eyes, place your hands there if you have to, bring your awareness to your nostril, be very relaxed and calm, and start. Your mouth is closed. As much as you can, and once you finish, you just relax. Okay, relax. Some of you are doing correctly, some of you are not doing correctly. Now when you do it, now you are continuing after that. Did you feel anything? Was there a stopping in breath or anything? No. Ideally what happens is when you do this 120 times, when you stop, your whole breath stops. Alright? And students tell me, I'm supposed to breathe, am I supposed to breathe, am I going to die? You're not going to die. Your body has enough oxygen, and in yoga they call this kumbhaka. It comes to a point where you are so relaxed, your body is so filled with what they call prana, there is no need, all the cells are at its maximum, optimum level. And there's one saint apparently who said, he breathes every generation. Okay? So that powerful it can be, and it stops your aging process, not stop, it reduces aging process. So when you breathe more, your oxidization, alright, so much is happening. When you breathe less, the less and less you breathe, the slower. Don't go walking on the road then. Don't do things like that. There are ways and when you can and shouldn't do it. At the same time, don't hold your breath, but somebody say, I'll live longer, you know. It's not. It is a process, and when it comes a natural stopping of breath, then you are going to have it at an optimum level. When you do this, you're also removing all negative energy. You can't see the prana, alright? All the negative energy, everything will be gone. Now, don't go home and start doing it because, like I said, everything for yoga, people sometimes go into excessive. There is positive and negative. Even for postures, certain postures you can't do. People got arthritis, people got back pain are not supposed to do a lower back, forward back bending. So limitations here will be all this. So if you have a person who's got epilepsy, you don't go and say, do this, you know, that's going to be a problem. So you really need to be careful to know what you can do, what you cannot do. And I've only listed one. There are so many other kinds of breathing, sectional breathing, like I mentioned, the preparatory breathing, Ujjayi breathing, excellent again for insomnia, where you breathe from your glottis. You are still having here, so it will be, you can hear? Excellent for sleep prevention of sleep apnea. People who are snoring. So if you've got a husband who snores, instead of strangling him, you can ask him to practice this one. Balancing breathing is excellent for your yin and yang, balancing your what we call Ida and Pingala, your nadis, your heating and cooling system, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. All this is what we call balancing breathing, where you exhale, breathe in through your left, out through your right, breathe in through your right, out through your left. Okay, so you're asking me, how do I do it? How are you going to breathe in through your left nostril? You don't put your finger. The correct way is what we call a mudra, alright, Nastika mudra. You place your thumb here and your fourth finger here. And you don't go press, it's just a little bit. So as you exhale completely, close this, inhale, close, open, exhale. Right? Exhalation is always longer than inhalation. Then inhale, and then exhale. And here you don't stop. The Hatha school, the dynamic school, they ask you to stop and hold the breath. If you're beginners, we always recommend don't. Just let it be a natural flow according to your body. This is being proven scientifically by, again, you know, that scientific institute to reduce stress. It's called mother of all pranayama. It improves, there are no limitation for this, alright? Improves your mental capacity, your emotional capacity, your EQ and IQ, alright? Where's your EQ, left or right? Right side, EQ or IQ? EQ, IQ. So they have now proving that your nostril breathing, this nose is connected to this side and this connected to this side. So if you have a boss who say, never mind, you're going to die, never mind, finish my project before you die. Then you will ask him to do what we call just the IQ breathing, EQ breathing, not the IQ. Okay, that means you breathe in and out, just one circle. Alright? If you've got a boss who say, never mind, let the whole world come to an end, let's all hold hands and just love one another. He needs to develop the IQ. So we do the other side of the breathing. But the best, they say this is called balancing breathing. It balances all sides. Okay? So that basically comes an end, brings an end to my talk, because I just want to let you know that this particular whole process sequence, it's only 35 minutes and scientifically proven to give you 6 hours of sleep. You're very relaxed, improve productivity. And in India, many companies are actually spending money on their staff to do this. So the work finishes at 5, the companies release the staff, I don't know whether your company will do, at 4:45, and the staff put on another 15 minutes of their time and they do this. Alright, so the teachers go to the companies and teach. So anyway, that brings an end to my, concludes my talk. I hope you found it useful and information. Information.